Welcome back to Retro ReWire. My name is JJ. We are back for another In the Hunt episode at the Surugaya in Shinjuku, Tokyo, Japan. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be comparing 2023 with what you're seeing now on the screen. This was filmed a few days ago with 2020. I still had some stock footage, and as you can see, the arrangement was a little bit different. And what we're going to be doing is mainly looking at the hardware behind the glass. And what they had back then was a Neo Geo for 24,000 yen. I want to say those are roughly about the same price, especially if they're untested. So that hasn't really changed much. And then on the second shelf, they had PS3 Slims and Super Slims for 6,000 yen. That was the normal asking price back then. Things have changed. And then this has seen a crazy increase, 10,000 for a PS3 Fat. That's definitely a lot more nowadays. Xbox One X, those are definitely less. Now this, 22,000, those are going for 50,000 plus nowadays. And then a Neo CD, 10,000 and 9,000 respectively is what they had them for back in 2020. Those are definitely, I want to say like 25,000 yen nowadays. Then the Wii U's, look at all those Wii U's that they had back then. And then a pair of FZ10s. Now those nowadays, just for the console only, is about 15,000 yen. But now present day, this was filmed, as I mentioned, a few days ago. This is what you could expect to see. PS3s, not as many. And the least expensive one is coming in at 6,200 yen. So not much of a difference, although that one in the middle is a little bit more expensive. And then here's just a little sign, tax-free, but after 8 o'clock, they're not going to be able to return the tax. So definitely come early. Then the PS2 Slim, 7,500 yen. Yeah, that's not a bad price. I wonder how, I don't think they had any in the footage that I'm going to show for 2020, but look at this ASCII Grip version 2 for 12,800 yen. Kind of interesting controller. I have the Sega Saturn version. And that's one thing, 2023, as you see here, a lot of controllers, and they had a lot of controllers in 2020. And a video CD adapter, 5,500 yen. A little bit of a collector's item, especially for all the 3DO enthusiasts. Some kind of funky PS2 controller, and then a Dreamcast VGA box on the left there for 4,100 yen, which that was the same price that they had in 2020. And then this was cool, this Umbrella PS2 memory card for 9,800 yen by Hori. Haven't seen that one before. And then all sorts of cables, random stuff, just kind of littered all throughout. Now this, the Final Fantasy 13 PS3 Slim, 14,000. Now these before were going for about 6,000, 7,000 yen in the box. I think back in 2020, 2019. So yeah, definitely a bit of an increase in the price there. And then we have an arcade stick for the PS2, some kind of upscaler. Haven't heard of this one before. 6,200 yen is what they had it for. And nowadays, this is what they have for the Wii U. A lot of homeless game pads there. The Wii U, yeah, not too expensive in Japan. And then we have the Retro Freak. They had quite a bit of these, and the price seems to vary. Could be because of missing accessories or who knows. But they did have the limited edition black version there for 15,000 yen. And I think that's just for the console only, so that one's definitely pricey, probably, and a lot more pricey if it's complete and in the box. But pretty cool clone system. Not really sure what this is. I think it's for saving games on the PC Engine. I could be wrong, but kind of a funky looking gadget there. And then they had this Sound Voltex console by Konami. I have no idea what that thing is. And next to it, they had a 360 for 12,700 yen, a 250 gig, and the 1X nowadays, there you go, cheaper, 27,800 yen. So a slight decrease in the price. And then up above, nowadays, it's pretty much just a bunch of random controllers and peripherals. So gone are all the Wii U's. And then going back to 2020, now you will see that back then, they had a number of handheld consoles. From the Wonder Swan, the Neo Geo Pocket, all the cool Sega stuff. PlayStation Portables, 3DSs, and a Duo that's not working for 25,000 yen. I want to say nowadays that would be less expensive, just because it's so expensive to get them recapped. If you have to pay for that kind of service, it's almost as much as buying a new one. I was quoted like 30,000. And they had a ton of Game & Watch systems in 2020. Look at all this stuff. Not all of them are Game & Watch, but you know, they're of that generation. And yeah, more Wonder Swans in pocket colors. You don't see those very often nowadays. 12,300 yen for a Neo Geo Pocket Color. 12,000 for the original Game Boy, the handy Game Boy. And in 2020, they had a lot of these mini consoles. These were all the rage back then. The thirst for these has quelled. But the price that they had for the Mega Drive Mini, 5,500 yen in 2020, that's not too bad. And then the Neo Geo Mini. Now they had a Haomaru here for 10,500 yen. That's definitely a lot more expensive nowadays. Especially, you know, it being Neo Geo and all. It's highly collectible. The international version still goes for about that same price, 6,500. Then 32,000 is what they had at the Final Fantasy Advance there. The Game Boy Micro is definitely more expensive nowadays too. Then the Core Graphics for 21,000 yen in the box. The Core Graphics 2, 9,000, but that one seems to have some damage. The Master System, 20,000 yen in 2020. 4,000 for the Mega Drive 2. That's a pretty good price. But that could be console only. Then we have the classic themed Advance for 30,000 yen. Oh man, I would hate to see what it goes for now. It's probably a lot more expensive. And then we have some more of those older type of handhelds. A non-working Game Boy Micro for 9,000. Well, the A button, a little bit unresponsive. The Game Boy Color is one that is still going for roughly these prices. So that one has remained consistent with its pricing. Here we have another Game Boy Micro for 12,300. That would probably be twice as much nowadays. And then we have these things. Oh, I always forget what they are. I film them every now and then, but there you go. 2020. What else? The PC Engine Mini was going for 12,800 yen. That's probably going for about the same, maybe a little more. That was really popular, but 28,800 yen for a Duo R. That's definitely a lot more expensive nowadays. And then we have some Nintendo handhelds. Now, these Pokemon ones, look at the Game Boy Light one coming in at 85,000 yen. Nowadays, 99,000, and that's what it's going to get you there. But of course, you know, it's going to vary because some shops, same price, but not that nasty screen. And then what do we have here? We got the DS Lites. The DS Lite is like way less expensive nowadays, especially if you find it in the junk section. They're so cheap. What else do we have here? Just a bunch of handheld stuff, man. They were just so loaded with it back in 2020. 3DS, just stacks of it. Now, present day, 27,800 for the Sega Master System. A couple of Saturns here for 12,800 and 9,800 respectively. Boxes are a little bit beat up, but I guess, you know, that's not too bad. Now these boxes, look at the condition of these things. They're so clean. They're great looking. And they're more expensive nowadays. 31,000 for the Mega CD model too. Great machine. Then we have the Sega Hard Historia for 9,350 yen, which kind of showcases all the Sega Saturn magazines. And now we have plushies in the showcase. Now look at this. These are Ichiban Kuji Sonic plushies, 16,500 yen. Really expensive for what it is. And then we have a Virtua Stick coming in at 4,980 yen. And then a Sega Saturn 9,800 Model 2. Not too bad there. I don't think that has really seen an increase in the price. Then we have the Tower Mini. We'll get back to this in a little bit bright. But let's go ahead and look at the PC Engine Duo and the Duo R. Those are coming in at 35,800 yen. Before it was 28,000. So yeah, definitely a bit of a increase there. And look at that, the Core Graphics Mini, 23,000. That also saw an increase. But you have to appreciate this box. This is like late 80s, super early 90s, over 30 years old, and that condition was awesome. 35,000 for the Astro City arcade stick. This thing is a bit rare, and the controller is 7,200 yen. I paid a lot less. Maybe it's just highly collectible now, who knows. 14,500 for the Mega Drive Tower Mini. I don't know if I would get that. It's kind of cool, but you know, non-functional, so. But still, I guess decor. Then we have the portable monitor IPS LCD. Those have been popping up left and right. 4,000 for that Mega Drive back in the back there. And look at its button, it's so blue. Pretty cool mouse there for the PC Engine. I wonder what games are compatible with that. But yeah, a lot of controllers back then, a lot of them now. 6,800 for the Dreamcast joystick. That one looks like it's in pretty good shape. And then we have the ASCII Pad FT, the SNK version, 10,000 yen. And the Capcom version, 7,000 yen more or less. And those prices have remained consistent. And then next to that, we have a Model 1 and Model 2 Mega Drive. 6,900 is what they're going for currently. And 6,400 yen for the Mega Drive 2. Not too bad, although in 2020, I want to say it was more or less the same price. So those are also consistent. Now going back to 2020, look at all the PSPs that they had. And I actually bought this one, I still have it, 3,500 yen. Freaking love that one. And then 2,500 for the Game Boy Player. Those are definitely a little bit pricier, even without the startup disc. 8,000 for that Wii U stick. That's kind of a special thing, as that, you know, arcade sticks for Nintendo consoles, the Wii and the Wii U are a bit rare. But more controllers back then and today. The Gun-Con for 6,100 yen. I don't really see that nowadays. And there was a Mega Drive 2. The price was a little bit, happened a little bit too quickly there, but for the keypad PS3, 800 yen is what the asking price was in 2020. And then we got this PS2 Neo stick, a Duo RX, 29,000 yen, complete with the cables and controller. Now this, 1,800 yen for the Model 2 3DO. That controller, that's definitely like twice as expensive nowadays. And that one was actually sealed in the bag, the original bag, unused. Disc system, 8,000 yen, complete in the box. And then Mega Drive 2s, 9,000 and 7,000 respectively. So those are definitely approaching the 20,000 yen mark. And look at this, 22,000 for the GT AC adapter. They had one in 2020, but unfortunately I couldn't get the price, and that one's in the box. So who knows how much that thing was back then. So let's go ahead and check out the next showcase. Now this is 2023. It could be confusing just because we're swapping between the two dates so rapidly, but now they have a Game Boy player, 6,400 yen, but no startup disc. And this N64 for 12,800. That thing is mean looking. Love that color. And then we have a Super Famicom Junior for 10,300. That's not too bad, I guess. And then more controllers. Some things never change. But it's cool, that wireless one does have the wireless adapter for 3,300 yen, although it has a funky shape. Now this pumpkin orange PSP, 8,800 yen. That thing is so freaking cool looking. And look at this, 8,200 yen for the disc system. This is working, but no box, so it has gone up in price, but not by much. Well, I guess it depends, you know, how much the box is worth to you. Now we have the Final Fantasy VII 10th anniversary, 29,800 yen. Now this thing on eBay goes for a lot more money, but there's still a bit of a presence of PSP stuff. I do like that spirited green for 17,800 yen in the box. Then they have some batteries. And then we're going to see what they have left of the Game & Watch stuff. Look at this. Not too much. There is a Game Boy player complete for 8,800 yen in the back, but going back to the Game & Watches, not a lot. Although they do have that Mario Bros. One for just shy of 40,000 yen. And if anybody knows what this turbo file does, please let me know. I always see those things and I'm just kind of curious what they do. And then the Nintendo DS and 3DS, 2DS varieties, not as much nowadays as you see. And then in the back they had this Mothra VMU for 3,500 yen. That's collectible, you know, especially if you're into the Godzilla universe. But the new 3DS has definitely nowadays, look at this, 19,800 yen. A lot more expensive nowadays. And here's one handheld that you don't see very often, the PSP Go, coming in at 19,800 yen. Now, when I first moved in Japan, these things were about 6,000 yen. So, wow, look at that. And then we have the Pikachu new 3DS for 27,800 yen. There's so many Pokemon themed Nintendo handhelds. It's crazy. And then another disc system in the box, 7,500 yen, but that is a non-working unit. And this is what they have left for Wii U's in the box. And then this pretty cool Nintendo GameCube. I think I saw one of these in the island of Kyushu. 39,800 yen. And that thing is pretty loaded. Then we got the Kirby. And then up above, we got a PS2 Slim and that N64 fishing controller. But not too bad what they have nowadays. But guys, in the next episode, we're going to focus on the software and do the same thing, kind of compare with what they had and what they have now. So stay tuned for that. Anyhow, thank you for watching Retro ReWire, and we'll see you soon. Ciao.